do. It's not ideal. He could have double stacked the Ferrari, but he's all right. He's getting away with that one. But he had to deploy either the virtual safety car, the imaginary one, or the actual one. When you're going to send, as we saw, some kind of bigger vehicle out into what's on the outside of the racing line, and marshals, you've got to control the pace right down.
Oh yeah, exactly. Pits as well. You needed a safety car there. Ferrari's defence, Martin Leclerc was ahead of Verstappen. They might not have expected Verstappen to be stopping right then, although they might have thought that Red Bull could do something like that. Verstappen could have stayed out if Leclerc pitted, but he is the man. Well, there's two men that have lost out big time here, isn't there? Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, if you had to stop again, which Bottas didn't have to stop, yes he did, couldn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He has still got to stop again, in fact, hasn't he? He's got medium.
He's got medium.
How the hell did we lose the position? Still a long race, anything can happen, so stay focused.
So yes, medium.
Yeah, but Bottas has got medium. So at least Leclerc can go to the end of the race. Poor old Valtteri Bottas has got to stop again to use both or two types of tyre in this race. So it's a double whammy for him. At least Leclerc is still in the hunt.
So what do Mercedes do then? As a team that make it fair, that give their drivers equal chances, so they say, Lewis, Valtteri's now a completely different strategy to you. Don't hold him up, let him through, because for the good of the team, we need him to build a gap, and a gap that then means he can slot back in second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever. Right. Or do they just let them go off and race, and Valtteri have to overtake his teammate?
Well, Lewis's view would be catch me if you can. If you can catch him, the team might ease him past to help him down the road, yeah.
Vettel ahead has fitted a hard tyre, so he could in theory go to the end. And Gasly also has fitted a hard tyre. Just be careful with any overtakes on Gasly. And other way around.
Be careful with any overtakes on Gasly.
Yeah, basically don't put your teammate out of the race, and he's saying, don't let my teammate try and put me out of the race as well. Safety cars coming in. At the end of this lap, we've all had a bit of a rest and a relax the last couple of laps. Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc are going to have to rebuild their race again, and Lewis Hamilton finds himself, when we get racing, leading the British Grand Prix.
Interesting psychology there. It's an assumption, despite being on the hard tyre, that Max will overtake the air in that respect. But let's see. Well, this has spiced it up an absolute treat, hasn't it? Not actually Valtteri Bottas, it hasn't.
No.
But it's packed the top six in, and they can all now run to the end. Including Ricciardo and Norris and Co as well. Everybody in the top 10 can run to the end if they're able to on the tyres, except for Valtteri Bottas.
Correct. And watch these hard tyres when we get racing again, because they do take a little bit of warming up. They do take a bit of preparation, and it might just be a little bit slippy for the drivers struggling for grip. Look how Max Verstappen was struggling for grip when he pitted onto the medium tyre. It might be that we get something similar. What will be helping is that it's getting warmer here. Sun came out a few moments ago. Track temperature 33 degrees, the air temperature 19 degrees. For Lewis Hamilton, it's red hot at the moment as he begins to get the pack backed up and now stretched, because he can start to pull away. The safety car's gone, and we can go racing once again. The lock up from Pierre Gasly.
Now Max behind him, Max Verstappen behind him, nearly ran into his teammate. He's really struggling, isn't he, on fresh tyres?
Got to watch these hard compound tyres as well. We're going racing. Lewis Hamilton leads from Bottas. Further back, Alex Albon and Lando Norris going for it. Down the inside of Abbey. Albon thought he had it, but he hasn't. Lando Norris has it covered. Bottas, Vettel, Gasly, Verstappen there down the inside. Goes Albon and Norris once again. Waiting to pick up the scratches. Hulkenberg. Norris has the inside line through the loop. And the Renault is now going wheel to wheel with Alex Albon as well. Hulkenberg trying to get past, but not on this occasion. And Hulkenberg might have lost out to his teammate, Daniel Ricciardo. Gasly fends off Verstappen. There goes Ricciardo down the inside of Hulkenberg. Here comes Perez down the inside. And it might have been contact, yes. Perez has lost his front wing in the move on Nico Hulkenberg, as Lance Stroll now makes a move on the Renault instead.
And is Hulkenberg's left rear tyre okay after that contact? We'll keep an eye on that.
There goes Verstappen on the inside of Charles Leclerc. Verstappen struggling at the end, and he got behind Charles Leclerc. He's overtaken the Ferrari now.
I think Max will be asking to be let past to Gasly, Pierre Gasly, his teammate, but Leclerc having a good run. the pair of them at the moment. Tremendous racing.
Out in front, Hamilton leads Bottas. There you can see the advantage the two Mercedes have got. Sebastian Vettel third, Pierre Gasly and Max Verstappen behind him, and Charles Leclerc bringing up the rear of that trio.
Sorry, Verstappen wide again. He's now going to have to defend against Leclerc.
He's been doing all the attacking on Leclerc. Now he's defending. They do touch wheels, and Charles Leclerc barges his way through, and Max Verstappen hangs out round the outside to try and regain the place, which he does. Behind them, Carlos Sainz is now getting involved as well. How many more laps of action can Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc give us? Hopefully another 27.
Did he regain that position off the track? But Leclerc is like, okay, I'll give up Austria. But if that's how we're going racing, that's how we're going racing.
But he said it was fair, all fair and love and war in Austria, and he's gone and done it again. And the steward's going to have a look at that. We'll let you know as a Toro Rosso under pressure from the Renault going into Brooklyn. Norris has to watch out behind as Daniel Ricciardo goes off the track, kicks up a bit of dirt, and Alex Albon thinks, well, that might have been a bit touch unfair as well.
Not shy, these new kids into Formula One, are they? They'll have a go.
There's a new kid on a chip off the old block, shall we say that? Lando Norris, through Cops he goes, in 8th place at the moment. We're on board with Daniel Ricciardo, the driver right behind him into Maggots and Beckett. You can see the harvesting that's going on, the electrical recovery system, the energy recovery system, charging all the way through those corners.
Yeah, so we just, whether the stewards think that Verstappen regained, maintained his position whilst off the racetrack. We'll see, nothing up on the computer yet. Keep an eye on that. But great racing, just what we want to see.
It never fails to disappoint, this British Grand Prix. DRS is enabled now. Hamilton leads Bottas by 1.2 seconds. The two Mercedes now 4 seconds ahead as Sebastian Vettel in 3rd place. Pierre Gasly runs 4th. Off the track goes Lance Stroll.
Is something broken on the left part of the car? Everything is fine.
Charles Leclerc is feeling that there's a problem down the inside. Goes to Toro Rosso on Stroll, but Kvyat's a bit too far back. Hulkenberg has been top 6 here. Last 2 years is under pressure in 12th place at the moment.
Sometimes it's psychological. You feel a vibration or whatever when you've had a bit of a clout, as Leclerc did there. The team is saying the data, all of the loads in the suspension, and therefore the aero loads as well, appears normal. Go for it.
Right, let's go to Sky Race Control. The stewards haven't said anything yet, but Anthony Davison's had a chance to review the evidence.
Yeah, I was just looking at it, Crofty, and it's a bit of a cheeky move from Leclerc around the outside of the club, and he sticks his car down the inside of the right-hander and actually makes contact with Verstappen. He probably didn't quite see him at that point. I've seen this move a few times in the past. And so it's actually, Leclerc does touch wheels, and that sends Verstappen off the track. And yes, he does get the overtaking move done off the track, but so is Leclerc. He's all 4 wheels off the circuit too. So it's, if it was more off the track, I don't know what they're going to look at.
Is that force majeure? You know, they're both off the track, it doesn't matter.
I think this one's going to go as just hard racing. Based on what we saw in Austria, I think, like Martin said, it's fair game.
No complaints on that whatsoever. The two Red Bulls go through the final corner, through Club, and behind Sebastian Vettel, who's in 3rd place. Gasly and Verstappen are 4th and 5th at the moment, and double yellow flags are now being waved at roundabouts Brooklands, I think it is. Can't see it from our commentary box here, but there's double yellows being waved. I wonder if something's fallen off. There's a bit of contact made here earlier. That was Sergio Perez's front wing that was disappearing, and the contact with Nico Hulkenberg. Two former teammates, and that's just one big crunch of carbon fibre that has left Sergio Perez down in 17th place. This is the incident now. Leclerc and Verstappen, take us through it, Martin.
This is down into Cops corner, of course. And there we go then. This is Bale. And Leclerc gets on the path beautifully. He's got the apex, nothing wrong with that at all. And nothing wrong at all. So he's been left the cars with, fine. Now he's squirted the throttle, got himself the corner. A little bit of contact. He stays largely on the road, I would say. Leclerc did there. It's just a question of whether they think Max recovered whilst off the road. But I have no issues with that. If you're on the racing line and you're under control,
Verstappen with his easiest pass of the afternoon on Pierre Gasly.
Synchronised swimming there because Vettel's getting away up the road.
No investigation necessary. Sergio Perez and Nico Hulkenberg on Marcel now. Team boss at Racing Points. Big your front wing, and that's rather ruined Sergio Perez's race. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. There's always risk at a restart like that when you're trying to overtake. We looked like we had a good race car today, but that's unfortunate. We had it coming for no straight.
I was going to say, because both Lance Stroll and Sergio Perez were busy making their way through the field, and I would imagine that before the safety car, you thought a points finish was possible.
Absolutely, and even after I was just looking, there's a few runners ahead of us that need to pit again, the option runners, and we thought we would score points.
Oh, Mark, we'll be back with you a little bit later. Fingers crossed for you all. This has been a terrific race so far. We're on lap 28 of 52. We've lost Kevin Magnussen and Romain Grosjean, who made contact early on and both got punctured and both were retired from the Haas team. We lost Antonio Giovinazzi when he went into the gravel down at Vale. He brought out the safety car. Lewis Hamilton hadn't pitted by that stage. He did pit on the safety car. He took the lead in the British Grand Prix at the expense of his teammate Valtteri Bottas, who does still need to pit again and is currently running in second place and trying to build a gap on the Ferrari. Sebastian Vettel, who made up places under the safety car as well. Martin, this race resume is turning into chapters at the moment. So much action going on.
We're only just over halfway through, I'm delighted to say. So smart move, I think, by Red Bull, because now he's been released into clear air. Verstappen is flying away, and they're beginning to very quickly catch Sebastian Vettel as well, who's running third.
And this is Charles Leclerc, who was running third at one stage and has had some absolutely epic tussles with a Red Bull that's been trying to push him through corners at times, such as the pace advantage. He doesn't have to pit again. Valtteri Bottas, the only one of the top five at the moment he does, top six for Leclerc, that does have to pit again.
Mode 8, just to top up the battery before you get to 7. Mode 8.
Yes, before you can go to mode 11, which is the full V.
Leclerc's race is more like ice hockey, hasn't it? From time to time, as he's been getting his elbows out, going, okay, yeah, this is how we do it. Good.
Ted Kravitz, down to you in the pit lane.
Yeah, it's all been going on up there. Martin, just from a fan point of view, did Verstappen not just drive into Leclerc? Was that okay? Did Verstappen not clock into him?
I think they were both trying to make what is a tiny little left-hand corner there, Ted, as well, slightly off camber. Leclerc went around the outside. He left in the car's width, but as you go through the apex, when you come at it from an acute angle, the front of the car will slide across the road, Ted.
Charles Leclerc thought for one moment that Pierre Gasly had left enough room, but as Gasly made the turn right-handed into Stowe, the gap was soon closed upon him. Thank you very much, Ted.
Quickly down, just quickly from down here. Sorry, I was going to make the point that Lando Norris, we think, has to pit again. Sure, he's on the hard tyre, isn't he, Crofty? But that was put on very early. So if he can make it to the end, then great. He didn't stop under the safety car. Carlos Sainz did, his teammate. So if that tyre gets to the cliff edge, McLaren might need to stop Norris early. And now I know this happened a long time ago, but for anybody listening to us,
We're trying to work it out. We've just got Ricciardo behind, which makes it difficult.
He's on the medium.
I got screwed over by the strategy. So indeed, it was a very poorly timed safety car, but there's still 23 laps to go. There's still lots to play for here. So let's keep it up.
sorry, I should have.
He's on the medium side,
so he definitely has to stop again.
Yes, he does.
Sorry, I thought I had the wrong information. Just quickly, I know this happened a long time ago with the Haas drivers, but I know a lot of people listening to us in the US, and it is an American team, so I can just tell you that Grosjean had to retire because of loss of downforce after the collision with his teammate Magnussen, and Magnussen was reporting something loose, and that's why he had to retire. Perhaps not as loose as his team boss, Günther Steiner's language, when he gets hold of the two of them.
Well, yeah, it's another unenforced error as two teammates taking each other out. They've had issues. Certainly it has with that in the past. An interesting press conference later with Günther. Ricciardo's gaining on Norris here, Martin.
Yeah, Norris doesn't have to stop again by regulation because he started on the soft tyres, went to the mediums on lap 13. I think he'll just run out of tyres will be the problem.
Already say 25 laps is the maximum for the medium tyre. They like to keep it conservative, those estimates, because these high-speed corners around Silverstone, when the tread goes, in terms of tyre degradation here, the teams aren't necessarily too worried.
about the way the tyres degrade, but what they are worried is that eventually they will get to a cliff because of the nature of the corners and fall away very, very sharply. You can lose an awful lot of time by staying out even one lap too long. Look at that. Event attendance, 351,000. There are officially 141,000 fans here at Silverstone this afternoon. We could be still trying to get out on Monday, and I wouldn't mind that whatsoever.
I appreciate each and every one of you, as we do everybody watching us at home all around the world. We talk to, I think, 67 countries around the world. We love to share Formula One with you.
And when it's like this, we don't mind sharing it at all. It's been a terrific race so far. Out in front, Hamilton is pulling away from his teammate Valtteri Bottas, and the Mercedes are pulling away from Sebastian Vettel. Not by the extent I think that Bottas would want, because he's got to pit again at some stage, and he wants to build up at least a 20-second gap, so he hasn't got any overtaking to do with a Ferrari.
Yeah, and of course, he needs to get as many points as possible, so that's the best chance. It's an 18.5-second cost, because it's such a short pit lane on the right-hand side that you miss this last left and double right. So you gain, it's not as painful as at some circuits. So he needs to be 18.5 seconds ahead of anybody to get ahead of them. So at the moment, that would put him back in 6th place, Valtteri Bottas, for example. So he can get some points, but in the fight against Hamilton for the World Championship, it's painful indeed. He was so unlucky with the safety car timing. But of course, they tend to generate themselves, safety cars.
Well, I posed the question when Bottas pitted, was Hamilton then going to say, right, I'll stay out as long as I possibly can, because that's now my best chance, if the safety car does come, of leapfrogging my teammate, and that is the way it proves to be on this occasion. On board with Charles Leclerc, just at the fastest first sector of the race so far. Pierre Gasly is right in front of him, and he now goes into corners where you need lots and lots of downforce, and he's getting lots and lots of disturbance on his downforce of the Red Bull in front, but yet still they make it look so easy.
Formula One cars don't have brake lights, of course. They're red lights you saw on the back of that as it's harvesting electricity, charging his batteries up.
Do you think it would make the racing better if they did have brake lights? I still wonder.
You wouldn't be able to react anyway. It wouldn't make a lot of difference, to be honest. The braking distance is so short, it wouldn't make any difference. So I'm often asked the question.
Yes, if you see the lights and then you react, you're going to hit it.
Yeah, you're nearly as close as they are on the M25 sometimes when they're tailgating you.
So this was into Brooklands. He's trying to find a way. Charles Leclerc is quite happening at the moment. He's about 7/10 of a second down on the Red Bull. His teammate, Pierre Gasly's teammate, Max Verstappen, is slowly but surely chipping away at Sebastian Vettel's advantage. Vettel running in 3rd place at the moment. I'm sure he didn't really believe he'd be doing that after 33 laps, given the qualifying yesterday. What was his reaction? Well, at least I was there. It wasn't the best qualifying for him. Race-wise, with his strategy, he's running in the podium places at the moment, and he's having a much better Sunday afternoon.
And Charlie Leclerc is going to be a bit annoyed at the end of the race when he realises that he pitted a lap later than he probably could have and should have.
Ferrari, I'm sure, will be asked the question, why didn't you pit him at the same time as Sebastian Vettel? Surely that would have been a better option. Maybe they were too busy trying to do the sums and see if Leclerc could go to the end. Down the hangar straight we go then. Leclerc behind a Red Bull. He thought about it, didn't he?
A tremendous scrap between Red Bull and Ferrari, hasn't it? All 34 laps so far. But it has made life easier for Mercedes-Benz.
Well, certainly at practice on Friday, Mercedes had the pace advantage over the rest. That's the way it's proving at the moment. Lewis Hamilton lapping in the mid-129s. Valtteri Bottas a couple of tenths faster on that previous lap, but both of them are comfortably clear of Sebastian Vettel, who's now 10 seconds behind the race leader in 3rd place. Verstappen continuing to gain on him.
Good, Max. Keep the pressure on. The battery's in a healthy state. Get ready to take the opportunity here. Use it all only when you need it.
Here comes Charles Leclerc on Pierre Gasly, who's defending for all his might. Verstappen's got all the charge he needs to really set about Sebastian Vettel. And I get the feeling when they come onto the hangar straight,
next time around he's going to have some DRS advantage as well as the Red Bull driver. We just saw them coming through and almost towards top, whilst Leclerc follows on behind Gasly. Valtteri Bottas has just put in the fastest middle sector. He's staying about 2 seconds behind his teammate, picking up a toe down the straight. He'll have to pit again, so not too worried about any damage it might be doing to his tyres. Yes, Verstappen did have DRS down the hanger straight. Yes, Leclerc has DRS down the hanger straight, but still he can't get past Pierre Gasly. So it's down to you.
There is a great fight for 10th in the last point of the race between Alex Albon, Kimi Raikkonen and Nico Hülkenberg. But Toro Rosso have given Albon a mountain to climb because he's got medium tyres on. They told him now his best chance is to get to the end of the race. Albon's been on the radio saying, well, too late telling me that now. Could have told me that in the beginning of the stint, but I could have saved the tyres a little bit more. But Albon is defending very nicely from Kimi Raikkonen.
They've given him, Martin, 14 laps extra to do outside of Pirelli's predictions.
Yeah, tall order that one.
Yeah. Just a touch. On board with Charles Leclerc. Down the Wellington Straight we go. Pierre Gasly is getting ever closer in his view. It is that straight to be another couple of hundred metres, maybe.
Yeah.
Gasly's gone wide here. Leclerc's looking down the inside.
You let the car breathe in the middle of left field because you get a better exit, as you now see. It's like a concertina effect. So Gasly, it looks odd, but it is actually the right line through there. Gasly was harvesting power down the straight, and Leclerc was going through the DRS open. Oh, he caught him so quickly.
Yeah, Gasly's won here at Silverstone, of course, in the GP2 back in 2016. Charles Leclerc, who won an F2 and GP2 changed his name a year later and got a double podium in GP3 in his title-winning season in 2016 as well. They both have tasted success here at Silverstone, both putting on a terrific performance.
I heard something strange out of turn 7 on pickup.
Oh dear. Not what he wants to hear or anyone wants to hear. You want to see these battles unfold on the track. Leclerc is definitely closer to Gasly on this particular lap. Can he stay close enough to make a move? Around the outside of Village, he's going to go for it. It's Charles Leclerc. That is absolutely epic from Charles Leclerc. Late on the brakes with Pierre Gasly. It was so clean, so smooth. He swooped round the outside, went the hard way round, and he got the job done. He's now going to have to defend into Brooklands as Gasly tries round the outside. But defence was Charles Leclerc's mantra for the opening part of this race, and he is more than up for the challenge.
That was a stunning piece of driving by Leclerc, totally under control. Saw his opportunity. Absolutely beautiful. I say the word again. Wow.
Yeah. That was slot car racing, Martin, two on different tracks, but on absolute rails there. Just watch this again. Both giving each other respect and distance. Gasly knew that he'd lost the place. He knew there was no point fighting back, but it was just a supreme control of Leclerc to do that.
Yeah.
Epic. Verstappen on Sebastian Vettel now. Anthony Davidson down to your Sky Race Control.
Yeah, he's been given the go-ahead to push. He's got a full battery, and yeah, the engine is fine. I've heard the radio message. I heard it myself. I went back and had a listen to that exit of turn 7. Couldn't hear anything at all. He's been given the all clear. The fight is back on.
Right, if you looked up at a screen a few moments ago, one of the big screens around the track, Verstappen might have seen what Charles Leclerc did on Pierre Gasly. Can he pull off the same move? No, he's just a bit too far back on this occasion. Oh, I can watch that Leclerc move again and again. That's amazing.
No doubt we will after the race. But I think the Red Bull's quicker, say, through turn 1 and corners like that. Seems it has more stability than the Ferrari did earlier on in the race. So this will be interesting. 4-time world champion, wise old man in relatively old. In the
32
Ferrari,
last week.
yeah. Getting round the club, isn't he? Max Verstappen chasing him. Who's got the calmest head here?
6 wins, 6 front row starts, still no pole position for Max Verstappen. He's waiting for that, and he's looking for a podium here at Silverstone this afternoon. I think they can go down to Ted in the pit lane.
I'm just thinking about Valtteri Bottas. Crofty, you talked about, if you were his engineer, at this point, if he pits now for his second stop, he's going to be like 6th, isn't he? Something like that. Can they use Hamilton in some way to back up Vettel and Verstappen and the rest? They can't really, because it's such a big
I don't know. 2 seconds, Ted. Verstappen's going for it on Sebastian Vettel. He pulls out late once again, and he's got the job done. Going into Stowe, where Valtteri Bottas has pulled up some ground. Oh no! Sebastian Vettel's gone into Max Verstappen. And under braking, he just couldn't slow down. And Vettel and Verstappen come together as Gasly and Leclerc go through. Verstappen had pulled off the move. He was ahead of the Ferrari, and then he got rear-ended by Sebastian Vettel, and that has totally destroyed his race.
The man who won 4 World Championships for Red Bull runs into the back of a Red Bull. They're pretty strong at the back. They've got a big crash structure. Vettel is then going slowly. He lost that place to Verstappen, but that looked like Vettel's error. We'll have to see it again. I would imagine he got underneath. You lose air on your front wing. He got right underneath the Red Bull, hit the brake, and locked him up. I don't think Verstappen checked him up and brake tested him.
So this is how Verstappen got past Sebastian Vettel.
Fair enough, Vettel parked it on the right, and Verstappen just steamed around the outside, kept it within bounds of the racetrack.
So close there. Do you remember when Daniel Ricciardo went into Max Verstappen in Baku?
Yeah.
That's a carbon copy.
You've lost your downforce on the front wing, but that's Vettel's fault. That's Vettel's fault. He's misjudged that because he's going across the track, and Verstappen is having to slow down for an acute approach again. But they're right in the braking zone. It's in the braking zone.
And what was he doing?
Trying down for a corner, and Sebastian Vettel didn't slow down enough. If these cars escape without any damage, I will be stunned. The stewards are investigating it. Sebastian Vettel was causing a collision. The celebration setting it. Look, there's the damage on the front wing.
It says involving both cars for causing a collision, but I believe that will be either a racing incident or deemed as Sebastian's fault. But I can't see what else. They were in the braking zone, the braking area, and they're approaching the corner from a tight angle. But we saw bits hanging off underneath the Red Bull as well, for good measure.
So it's a new front wing for Sebastian Vettel, Ted.
Yeah, so we're expecting the Ferrari in. I can't see any Red Bull mechanics coming out. They've been on the radio to tell Max Verstappen that amazingly his rear tyres are fine. They're not punctured. Wow. Sebastian Vettel's got a greasy black mark of tyres all over his front wing. But apart from the rear tyre finish going on, the tyre changes you can see, they are going to put a front wing on. But it didn't look too badly damaged, incredibly. There was some damage, obviously, but otherwise, we just see some other people getting ready for a stop. Racing Point getting ready for a stop. Lando Norris did make his second stop amongst all that, just before all that.
And he's down in 13th place. Thank you, Ted.
The other thing that as Sebastian was turning right, he was sweeping right across, and that also puts a roll moment in the car and can make a tyre snatch under heavy braking, but both the tyres were locked, it must be said. So Charles Leclerc might think that's poetic justice as he moves up into third place.
Well, I don't know if Sebastian Vettel was taking one for the team there, but yes, it has helped out his teammate. Charles Leclerc is up in the third place, mere 17.3 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas, who might also appreciate what's just happened there, because that could salvage his race a bit. Gary Connolly, Antonio Liuzzi, 2 of the 4 stewards on duty, looking now and discussing the incident between Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen. They've got previous data and they've got everything they need to make a decision. And I'd be stunned if that decision isn't a penalty for Sebastian Vettel, Martin.
Verstappen was all 4 wheels off there momentarily.
It's just like Ricciardo and Verstappen in Baku. Once you get right behind it, he just can't stop. He's got no
Sebastian may say he didn't leave me a car's width on the inside.
What did he have from the cars behind?
It's driver error. I think for me, I'd go racing incident.
While we watch it,
so you see how we're approaching a 90 wheel left-hander. He couldn't have gone in. He did well to get out of that gravel track. The one Giovinazzi didn't get out of earlier on.
Let's go to Sky Race Control. Anthony Davidson.
Yeah, so I've just been watching it back quite a few times on the onboard from Sebastian, and I totally agree with Martin. There's nothing that Max could have done to avoid. It's not like he suddenly moved in the braking zone, and I think it's even more clear-cut, guys, than the Baku incident between the two Red Bull drivers that day. Unfortunately, I think Seb misjudged it. He got into turbulent air. He thought about leading off the brakes and peeling to the right-hand side, but he ran out of time, he ran out of space, and ran into the back of the Red Bull. So, look, if he gets a penalty for it, I think there's nothing, there's nowhere to hide. I think it was his fault. But I do believe it was a racing incident. He came out of it worse, but he has damaged Verstappen.
Sure, as happy as we can be on the car side of things, Max. Suspension's fine, tyres are fine. All right, we've got to pay off to get a podium.
No, I can't afford the okay. I mean, I basically hit the bump.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of bodywork, we can't do anything about it. That is what it is.
You could see when it was flying through the air, bits hanging off underneath the car, so the floor is damaged.
Yeah, and Max has been complaining a bit more than that on the radio, actually. And I think I'm slow in a straight line as well. So, you know, it has, it's mentally knocked him, that one. I'm surprised to hear, but he's just got to get on with it. Like the engineer said, there's nothing we can do with the car. Visibly, it looks fine. The load sensors seem to be fine. No more we can do, but I think if they want to give a penalty, they can give a penalty to Seb. It was his fault, but because he damaged Verstappen's chances there of a podium.
Yeah, well, the initial penalty was Sebastian Vettel down in 17th place, and he's out of the point.
Yeah, that's why they won't be so harsh on him for a penalty. He came out of this worse, but it was definitely his fault.
Carlos Sainz, who's only stopped once in this race, is holding up Daniel Ricciardo. So Daniel Ricciardo believes, and he's fighting him back as best he can here.
The good news for Bottas, he's now very close to being a pit stop ahead of Leclerc, and all of this melee, Valtteri Bottas could soon, at the pace he's running at, could well soon be able to pit and actually maintain second place now.
I think that message got through just a couple of laps ago, because they've upped the pace for Bottas just a little bit. Hamilton's responded with a new fastest lap of the race as well, but Bottas needs Hamilton to go faster so he can maintain that 2.5 second gap behind his teammate, not run too close. As Ricciardo has a little dance down the inside, does he? Thought about it, going into Brooklyn on Carlos Sainz. It's the battle for 6th place at the moment. McLaren ahead of Renault, both powered by the same power unit. Works team up against McLaren in their home race, the second most successful team when it comes to wins in the British Grand Prix. And a British Grand Prix that has got 10 laps to go for the race leader. We've lost Magnus Grosjean and Giovinazzi. We've had a safety car. We've had overtaking, incident after incident. Max Verstappen punted by Sebastian Vettel, who's damaged his front wing, is now down in 17th place. Charles Leclerc, who came off worse during the safety car, back up into the podium places, and Sebastian Vettel has been given a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision. The stewards have just ruled that it is his fault. I dare say you can give him 100 seconds at the moment. It would make not a dot to his race whatsoever, but at least the stewards have decided, and they've made the decision against Sebastian Vettel.
You could argue that one either way. Fair enough. But I think it's absolutely clear whose fault it was. So this is an interesting scrap. They both pitted on lap 20, which of course was around the safety car, for fresh, hard tyres. So, but exactly the same rubber, and they're about to try and share the safety racetrack.
Valtteri Bottas, I'm just wondering how long they leave it until they pit him again. He's got to pit again. He's got to run the soft compound tyre. They might as well leave it for the last 5 laps or so, because they didn't give him a chance to go for the fastest lap of the race, and at least give him an extra point to make up, Martin, for what happened in the safety car. It wasn't the team's fault, just the timing of the safety car handed Lewis Hamilton the lead of this race. And to be fair, Hamilton hasn't looked like conceded that lead ever since.
Well, half the team, half the pit wall were very smart in leaving Hamilton out longer and hoping for a safety car. And that's why they were so relieved to get that set of tyres so far in, when they were like, that was tough for all of us. So, Bono and his gang on that side of the pit lane made the difference there.
Carlos Sainz currently 7th in the Drivers' Championship. The teammate Lando Norris is 8th. McLaren very much best of this. Hulkenberg's got a problem. Hulkenberg's got an issue there. He's just been passed by Danny Kvyat, and Hulkenberg looks like a mechanical problem there, going very, very slowly indeed. Kimi Räikkönen ahead now of Alex Albon as well, up into 8th place.
Wrong.
Just look to me, Hulkenberg
slowly there indeed.
Well, maybe, unless he's been off. Unless he's been off or around
possibly.
at Beckett there. Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? Looks like he might have just had a little adventure around the outside of Beckett somewhere.
It was a full 4.5 seconds slower in that final sector than you would normally expect.
So box.
It's a free pit stop, effectively.
Well, it certainly is for Lewis Hamilton. His teammate's got a pit again.
He's not pitted. He's gone past the pit lane.
So why would Lewis Hamilton want to stay out there
Yeah,
and ignore the team orders?
Yeah. He knows he can get the tyres to the end, but that's a security pit stop. What he doesn't realise is Valtteri probably doesn't know Valtteri must stop again anyway.
You'd expect him to be told that by the team at some stage.
Trouble is with the pit stop, moving in the pit lane, sticky wheeling up,
Anything could happen.
jack fail, don't introduce issues in that respect.
When did Hamilton put those tyres on lap 20 and to really say that those hard compound tyres can do 30 laps? So to be honest, the team are just covering themselves for something unexpected in the last few laps of the race.
Yeah, so he'll come out in front of Leclerc on a fresh set of tyres, but Lewis is yet to be convinced. He's got himself another 3.6 miles to discuss that particular booking.
That's James Bowles, the chief strategy engineer at Mercedes, the man who makes the calls. So the team, of course, back in Blackberry assisting him, but he takes the responsibility himself. And I wonder if Lewis Hamilton going to come in this time.
You know that feeling when the orange light comes up on the dash, service required. It's so annoying, isn't it?
Oh, there's a big lock up there by Robert Kubica going through the Vale chicane. As the Mercedes crew waiting once again, and this time Valtteri Bottas is coming in for the soft compound tyre to be fitted. Here he is for making his second and final pit stop of the race. And Charles Leclerc is just coming through slow.
And the problem is if they do pick Hamilton again, Bottas is going to be so fast on these tyres that Hamilton will be under pressure.
So, by staying out and ignoring the orders to come in,
He's got to stay out now, hasn't he?
yeah. Well, you'd certainly think so, because if he did come in on these tyres, even if he left it one lap, there'd be about a second in it by the time all normal order was resumed. And that's you.
Yeah, they've told him to stay out through to the end of the race, so yeah, I think that's the right decision made, really.
Was that a phantom call? Or what happened there, do you think?
No, they were ready for him to come in, but yeah, I mean, Bottas obviously had to again, but yeah, I think, like you said, it was a thing that they had the luxury of being able to stop again. But I think, yeah, many things can go wrong in a pit stop, as we've seen quite a few times. I think Lewis is clearly feeling good in the car, and that the tyres can last on those hard runs. So yeah, now they've agreed with the driver's decision and allowed him to stay out.
We're on lap 46 of 52. Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo battling away for 6th and 7th place at the moment. Out in front, Lewis Hamilton has a commanding lead over his teammate Valtteri Bottas. I'm sure he'll only do this on the last lap, Martin, but eventually he'll start to contemplate the fact that a sixth British Grand Prix win is coming his way here at Silverstone this afternoon. He's level with Jim Clark and Alain Prost on 5 wins. And after today, he will be the most successful driver in a British Grand Prix.
And Verstappen, he can't be too damaged underneath, but he's catching his teammate Gasly for 4th place now. Is Max Verstappen.
And down the inside goes Daniel Ricciardo. Having a look at Carlos Sainz there, but unsteady through Stowe and Ricciardo. Just one brief instant thought that the place was his. McLaren stays out in front, and no late bit of daring do into the Vale chicane from Daniel Ricciardo. We've seen what problem's going to mount there.
They're saying it. Verstappen is easing back towards Gasly. Whether he's got enough laps left is another matter.
So, into the new section, the loop section that we go once again. Carlos Sainz starting to struggle a bit on traction. As he gets out of those slow corners, Ricciardo will see that. He'll have DRS assistance as well. And I think 6th place could be mine. This fancy this one for a while. Hasn't finished 6th since Canada, but he's going to have to go a bit faster next time around. They're coming back out into the pit lane. lane. Ashley Davison.
Yeah, this is fascinating stuff. They're talking to Lewis about, look, this gap is going to come down now that Bottas is out there. They've been telling Bottas about fastest lap, obviously, on those new tyres now. And they're telling Lewis, look, we can pit now. We've got a free pit stop, but if it's not too much time, that gap's going to be too short for you to pit.
And this is all about just protecting themselves against these tyres, Martin, just shooting off the cliff and degrading so badly, so suddenly.
Yeah, Lewis was surprised to get the call and is obviously contesting it. But now Bottas, with a new fastest lap of the race, is 21.3 seconds behind, and we know it's an 18.5-second pit stop if everything goes to plan. If they are going to pit Hamilton, they've either got to control Bottas or they're going to have to do it right now, and Lewis is going to have to get on with it.
Ted, down to you now, keeping an eye on. I can clear out what happened. So they initially wanted to pit Lewis for all these reasons you talked about, and forget about the tyre going off the cliff. But then Bottas radioed in and said that he could feel a vibration, and they were worried there was something wrong with Bottas at the time. That's why they told Lewis to stay out. That's why they pitted Bottas when they did. And now they're going back to the idea they had in the first place, that they want to pit Hamilton. I wonder if that was... or not. Yeah. Or don't want to pit. Well, yeah, they can't control Valtteri Bottas. He's charging away.
Where's Lewis? How much in front and what's his lap time? So Hamilton is 26 seconds in front, lap time 29.0.
Why would Charles Leclerc be worried about Lewis at this stage of it? I admire his optimism if he thinks that he can get through and if he gets past it. But I assume he just wants to see if the Mercedes going to pit. Where will he come back out?
He knows he's a long way ahead because he'll turn into through Chapel into Hanger Straight, and he won't be able to see a silver car. So he knows there's a good chunk ahead. He might be surprised to find it 26 seconds ahead.
And meanwhile, Daniel Ricciardo is gaining on Carlos Sainz once again. Sainz putting up a sterling effort here in defence. Only once scored points. Carlos Sainz had a pretty strong free finish eighth here, didn't he? 3 of his 4 stars have been DNS, finished eighth here in 2016. Daniel Ricciardo, a man who has been on the podium since 2014, finished 5th here last year for Red Bull, was dearly loved. Another 6th place finish for Renault here this afternoon. The gap out in front, Valtteri Bottas, 21.3 seconds. I think he's the fastest lap now. Taking the life out of the tyres. It'll probably maintain around that 21 seconds. Mercedes could breathe a bit easier, but they'll still be thinking, we could have pitted Lewis there just to be on the safe side.
Now Bottas is pitted, of course. Maybe Leclerc suddenly sees a Mercedes ahead of him that's flying off into the distance, which is Bottas. Wondering, well, Bottas is only this close to be with Hamilton. He probably he's not quite clocked or been able to understandably what's going on with the Mercedes of Bottas. But certainly a save for him, isn't it, after that horrible safety car situation.
Sebastian Vettel has got ahead of Sergio Perez, or dropped back behind him. A 10-second penalty for Vettel for causing a collision. George Russell currently 14th on the racetrack. If he can hold on to that 14th, it'll be his best finish in Formula One so far. Lando Norris, our strategy has really hampered Lando Norris. The safety car came out of the wrong side for him today, and a good point scoring finish taken away from him. He's down in 12th at the moment. But whereas mixed fortune for 2 British drivers, 1 British driver out in front is on his way to another British Grand Prix victory. And some would say it was a bit fortuitous that when the safety car came out, Martin, but you do make your own luck in this world. As Lewis said, felt like longer those first 20 laps, having to hang on to the tyres that he started on.
Yeah, he had a good go at taking the lead, didn't he? And then had to regroup after that. 2 Toro Rosso's in the top 10 as well, 9th and 10th, Fiat and Albon. Kimi Raikkonen once again showing his class up in 8th place for Alfa Romeo. You can see Lewis in the big fast right-handers, just resting his neck a little bit. And watch him go, you'll see there's not a lot of room in there, mind you, but we know he's an athlete. He's supremely fit, but it's interesting to see his head moving around in the high G corners.
Absolutely, as the Hamilton family watch out for the garage. Ted Kravitz is near there down in the pit lane.
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, Toro Rosso eased Danny Kvyat past his teammate Alex Albon. Albon still got that point for 10 Raikkonen now ahead of him. Albon was up to 8 to 1 point. Albon hung on gamely for that point, still in front of Hulkenberg. And just a quick one on Perez. He pitted for a third time. That's why he's fallen back behind Sebastian Vettel.
I'm sure Hulkenberg must have gone off then at Chapel. That's why he lost 4 seconds or so on that particular lap. He's coming back a bit at Alex Albon. And Danny Kvyat on this lap is coming at Kimi Raikkonen as well. That scrap for 8th place might not be over just yet as we ride on board with Daniel Ricciardo once more into Abbey. Blindingly fast at Abbey now as you turn right. Used to go turning left past the campsite and onwards down towards the bridge to the new section. Slightly, I think, livened up this Silverstone track. Not that it really need it, but I do love this new loop section and onto the Wellington Straight.
Yeah, makes some good the technical corners, but in amongst the fast ones, Verstappen has pretty much maintained 5 seconds behind Gasly now, so stop catching him. Sainz just 0.6 ahead of Ricciardo, as we can see there.
Well, Ricciardo's battle will continue on. Lewis Hamilton knows his feeling and knows his feeling really well. Starting the final lap of the British Grand Prix in front of his home fans in the lead of the British Grand Prix and comfortably in the lead of the British Grand Prix as the clouds gather overhead. His mate Stormzy is preparing to wave the checkered flag to him. And I'm sure for Lewis Hamilton, whilst pole position wasn't quite his yesterday, victory today, well, it's a wrap, isn't it?
Yeah, do all the side-by-side, wheel-banging action, craziness in this Grand Prix. It's the Mercedes one too. Top tires are looking a little bit second-hand. They're passing an MOT test at the end, but they're getting him home.
Lewis Hamilton on his last lap. I wonder if he's going for the fastest lap on his last lap here as well. He has matched the best first sector we've seen so far. And I'd rather get the feeling, looking at the body language of that car, he's been given some extra modes, some extra engine modes, and told to really go for it and put on a show in front of his home fans. He has matched the second sector as well. He is getting a standing ovation at lightning quick pace. Lewis Hamilton, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 British Grand Prix wins.
He does it, fastest lap as well on the last lap.
Wow. 27 points for car number 44. 26 points for car number 44. I can't do the maths, but Lewis Hamilton did his today. The fastest lap on the last lap for Lewis Hamilton. His teammate Valtteri Bottas started on pole. Strategy wasn't his. When the safety car came out, he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He comes home to take second place, though. It's a Mercedes 1-2, and Charles Leclerc on the podium for the 4th consecutive race. In 3rd place, Pierre Gasly picks up his best result of the season in 4th. His teammate Max Verstappen behind him. Verstappen was looking at a podium, but Sebastian Vettel ran into the back of him. Vettel will finish way down in last place on the road. Carlos Sainz at the moment holding off Daniel Ricciardo as they fight all the way to the line. Sainz beats Ricciardo. Kimi Raikkonen, but Danny Kvyat right on his tail, and the scraps carrying on right on the last lap to the checkered flag. For 8th place, Kimi Raikkonen holds off Danny Kvyat. Nico Hulkenberg is 10th.
Get in there, Lewis. That's the home win, mate. And get the fastest lap for the day too, mate. Awesome job. What a day.
So instead of hard tyres, they've done 32 laps. Hamilton does fastest lap of the Grand Prix, right in the end.